나와 신나고 뻔게 또 신나 샤바와키 신나무 기그라니 짜이 샤바기라니 짜이 뭐 기그라니 루아이디 Your view is that walk in your police and roll in property. As long as we live, see that was fun. Yes, was fun. See that was fun. Amen. Lord, they will do for the social.
Damn! Someone took away Clint's girlfriend and he's really sad, and that's why he's not here anymore. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of the best political show, as we are going to be going live for the next 2 hours, discussing all the latest and craziest news developing right now. As, of course, there's a lot to talk about, as we have some new surprising developments with Joe Biden and the latest Parkinson's developments, which some mega donors are literally okay with, saying that they would prefer him even if Kamala Harris was not on this earth. Yes, we have the start of the NATO summit and some very serious questions about the future of it, as we have a very surprising development to what the White House would do if there would be a nuclear attack past 8 p.m. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you can, please share this broadcast with your friends and family members. It is more imperative and important than ever, and really does mean a lot to us in order to fight the larger algorithms out there that, of course, are trying to stifle free speech and independent media during an election year. And trust me, I see the numbers behind the scenes. There's something weird happening, and you guys help us fight it every single day just by sharing the broadcast, telling your friends about it, telling your family about it, being at the grocery checkout counter and being like, hey, you guys should check out thebestpoliticalshow.com. It really does mean a lot to us, as we do everything we can to give back to you, as you could also be a part of this show by calling in, by signing up to lukeunfiltered.com. When you do that, you get access to a Telegram channel. I am inside of that Telegram channel right now, and if you want to call in, just let us know, and we will be going to you in just a matter of moments. As, of course, also for members, we are doing a cigar night this Saturday in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, you heard that correctly. If you want to join us, including Andrew Meyer and many other very high-profile media figures for a cigar night, come out. Saturday night, it's going to be fun, and it's only exclusively for members of lukeunfiltered.com. We also have mysuperchat.com, a website that, of course, allows you to super chat and have your super chats actually show up on screen. We prefer you guys use that over the alternatives because it only charges a 3% service charge, and your super chats get to be shown to everyone on screen. So check out mysuperchat.com. As, of course, joining us for today's conversation is Douglas Mackey. Douglas, you have a crazy story, but for the people who don't know you, who are you and how would you introduce yourself?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. So I was a social media influencer a long time ago, 2016 election, and I shared a humorous meme about voting in the election, about texting your vote. And 7 days after Biden's inauguration, the FBI knocked on my door. I was arrested, indicted. 3 years later, went to trial and was convicted of sharing a meme that was said to obstruct people or injure them in their in voting. So right now, my case is on appeal.
If you can just bring the mic up a little bit higher.
Yeah,
sorry
of course,
about that.
no problem. So right now, my case is on appeal in the Second Circuit Court. So we're waiting for their decision. We have a strong appeal. So that's sort of the long and short of it. We can go into the details more.
Yeah, I definitely want to know all the details of it, because we covered your story from the very beginning, and we were like, this is crazy. Because there's people on the complete other political spectrum that did the same thing that you did, but they didn't have the FBI show up at their door. They weren't indicted. They weren't arrested, which is absolutely crazy. I would just ask, just put up the mic a little bit higher.
No
you
problem.
can manipulate it. I just want to make sure, because I'm seeing all the comments, that all the audio is going to be as good as possible. As, of course, Lila Hart is also here. We are very happy to have her here. Thank you so much for joining us. Lila, for the people who don't know who you are, how would you introduce yourself? And thank you for the glasses that you also gave me recently.
Thank you guys so much. So happy to be back on the best political show. My name is Lila Hart. I am the Spina Bifida baddie, stand-up comedian, and sweetheart cult leader. So you've officially joined the cult now that you have the sunglasses.
Uh-oh. Is there Kool-Aid?
No, just drink water
I like
and
Kool-Aid.
be healthy.
Yeah. or Celtic sea salt with your freshly filtered, ionized, deep, remineralized, reverse osmosis water. We'll get into that later. As of course, talking about memes, we have one of the first memes ever here with us here today, and his name is Andrew Meyer. Andrew, you were in the chat last night saying, "Don't tase Clint," so that means you're getting tased, right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Bring up the mic closer.
No, never again. Never.
Andrew, of course, is the original one of the first original memes on the internet with "Don't tase me, bro." If you guys need a reminder there. For the people who don't know you, who are you?
Don't tase me, bro. The creator of the Alex Jones video game. Where am I? There we go. AlexJonesGame.com. If you haven't played it yet, it's a ton of fun. And the former editor-in-chief of We Are Change, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I think I heard of that one before. We did some good work, broke a lot of crazy stories that made national headline news everywhere. That pissed off a lot of people. Clintina, sadly, is not here. Everyone should absolutely go unfollow him and unsubscribe from his channel since he didn't he didn't do that. But we are negotiating. And we are negotiating potentially a trade-off with paintball. And if he decides to get hit with a paintball, then I will tell everyone to subscribe to him automatically and immediately. Andrew, you're sharing a mic with Stephanie. Pull that mic over. Stephanie, how are you? Where's your you got the glasses on?
I got my sweetheart glasses on.
Yay.
This is Steph We Are Change. I'm the official button pusher of this show.
All right. You guys will be sharing the mic because Clint stole it. He's not good with keeping his word and keeping private property. But that anyway, we'll get it.
Clint is a communist?
Kind of, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stunning.
So we'll be back actually with Clint and Rob Schneider this Thursday. So we're going to have a very special show in just a few days from now in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're doing meetups. We're probably going to be doing another meetup in Milwaukee during the RNC. Probably also another Saturday, and then Nashville for the Bitcoin conference, promo code WRC if you want a percentage off of those tickets. And we probably will be doing something there, Nashville, July 28th after my birthday. And then we're doing something the next weekend in Orlando for YowCon. So we're going to, anytime I travel, I'm going to make sure I find a way to, of course, meet with everyone, talk with everyone, and, of course, do some really cool things like nature hikes, all a part of your memberships on lukeunfiltered.com. So, yeah, there's that. Let's just get right into the news, as of course there's so many different stories developing right now, all surrounding Joe Biden. One of the biggest ones was this one from the New York Times that reads, Parkinson's expert, and this is, according to a lot of people, the world's leading expert on Parkinson's. He visited the White House 8 times in 8 months. As, of course, the New York Post wrote that the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, refused Monday to explain why this expert had so many recent visits to, quote, the executive mansion, citing security reasons, despite there being a visitor log that is public. We had some very interesting responses to this particular story, as a lot of people are saying that this is yet another kind of major hit job against Joe Biden, as a lot of mega people now are riding with Biden. Myself included. If you criticize him, you're a racist and a bigot. As of course, the two responses to me posting this story was one from Michelle S., who said she did answer it, and so did the White House physician. The neurologist has been treating the military officials that work at the White House, and due to HIPAA, they cannot disclose anything more. Giving us a different kind of perspective here than, of course, the corporate media that usually is lying. Joanna Bollinger said, I am sure he was there for the free ice cream and hospitality. We are in a new age. Obese people are fit and people with dementia are competent. Welcome to woke ideology. This is a society based on nothing but lies. And that last part is something that is kind of key here, because is this a legitimate concern, or is this yet another setup against Joe Biden to try to oust him from his position of power, like we have seen the corporate media try to do right after those presidential debates that didn't really go well for Joe Biden. What do you guys think here? Is this a legitimate Parkinson's kind of diagnosis, or is this kind of more media bullcrap trying to, of course, attack him any way they can so he leaves the position of power? What do you guys think?
I think it's Disability Pride Month, July, and we need our president to be disabled to celebrate.
Well, yeah, that's some good point. Andrew, what do you think is going on here? As of course, there's two possibilities here. One, he legit has Parkinson's. Two, the media is just trying to, of course, create and stir up more drama in order to, of course, oust him from a position of power.
Yeah, I don't know about any of that. Joe Biden is obviously perfectly healthy.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with Joe Biden at all. And
Spry guy.
I'm so happy he's the Democrat candidate. It's just really wonderful that Trump is going to walk all over him.
This is democracy at work here. If you don't like democracy, you are a racist and a bigoted person who hates Joe Biden. Douglas, I don't know if you've been watching everything that's been kind of unfolding here, but what's your kind of assessment of it? Is he really that out of it, or do you think a lot of this now is being trumped up just to kind of galvanize media coverage against him?
Well, I thought he was far beyond cogent until the debate, unfortunately. But no, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he clearly has some kind of situation going on, Parkinson's probably, and there's a lot of people that want him out. But I think that's about beating Trump. I think that all the people that he's now mad at are the people that put him into place. They chose him for the 2020 primary. Obama cleared the field so that he could win the primary, so that he could beat Bernie. So these are the people that put him into place. So I don't think that they are, just doing an op.
Yes, and the people that were essentially his kingmakers are kind of turning their back on him, which is really kind of fascinating. The New York Post had the White House response to all of this, as they admitted, the expert did examine Joe Biden, but it was only for his, quote, annual physical. It doesn't really make sense, especially when the visitor log has him visiting 8 times in 8 particular months. I thought Karine Jean-Pierre's kind of response to all of this was also pretty eye-opening, to say the least, as of course things got pretty testy between her and the White House press corps.
There are thousands within the Walter Reed system who may be treated by specialists who visit here at the White House, but this neurologist had a meeting with the president's physician, with his doctor. You're refusing to say if he was here to evaluate the president or if he was consulting on the president's health. So what then was that meeting about?
And I will say that Dr. O'Connor leads the medical unit. He leads the medical unit. No, because we will not confirm or speak to names that you're providing to me. It is out of security reason, is out of protecting someone's privacy. We're just not going to do that. But they are. The reason that I mention that is because there are 1,000 military members that do indeed use the White House medical unit. They do. They get care from that.
We're talking about the president of the United States.
Guys, I'm trying to answer the question so you can connect the dot.
What's your response to this?
That's the most bald-faced lie I've ever seen in my life. That's incredible. That's hilarious.
Well, that's usually what the White House kind of press secretary kind of does.
I find it fascinating that they're talking about protecting his medical privacy when, for the last few years, they didn't want to protect anybody's privacy medically.
Yeah.
For him, they have to.
Yeah, the last 3-4 years, everything was kind of on the table, especially when it came to, the health issues that we all had to forcefully go through the last 3 to 4 years. Now we care about medical privacy. The video continues.
There are multiple neurologists that come, not neurologists, specialists that come through here because there are more than 1,000 medical military personnel here.
But you certainly could clear this all up just by saying what he was doing here and if it was connected to the president, yes or no.
I am not going to confirm a particular neurologist, anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a dermatologist or a neurologist. I'm just not going to do that. I shared with all of you that the president has been with the neurologist 3 times as it relates to his physical. 3 times. So, I'm just not, guys, I'm just not going to do that out of security reasons, out of privacy. It is not something that I'm going to do. A measure of privacy we have to be able to give people from here.
Yeah, it's all for your security. It's all for your
This is
safety.
actually like infuriating. This is infuriating because we deserve to know, as the people of America, how our president is doing, and yeah, that's insane.
He's doing great. He's doing awesome. He's he's on top of it, and he's calling in to MSNBC, and he's speaking very loud, which probably was definitely his voice. He there's no issue at all with him needing huge pieces of paper telling him where to walk and where to exit from particular stages that he performs on and speaks on through the rare times that he actually goes out to the general public and does perform some kind of public speaking. His wife has been doing a lot of public events. She recently did 3 of them in 3 different states, as he literally stayed home and called MSNBC, which is highlighting some kind of very interesting behavior from him, as he also, well, not him, but his Twitter account officially just tweeted Google Project 2025. I wonder what happens when you do actually Google Project 25. We're going to take a look at that, as of course we use Brave browser here, but we're going to go to Google really quickly here. What do you make of this kind of weird tweet? We got into Project 2025 a little bit yesterday, but it definitely does seem like a kind of conspiracy within a conspiracy. What do you guys think?
It's the new Trump is Hitler. Oh, Project 2025. He's gonna
speak into the mic.
It's the new Trump is Hitler. They're pretending that this is something that he's going to use to destroy the country somehow. All it is, Amanda Milius has had great tweets about this. If people don't know, she was in the first Trump administration, and she says it's basically just Trump loyalists actually going to staff the administration instead of the rhino backstabbers that he had last time. So it's just, this is what they're going to do. These are the people that are loyal to Trump, and they're turning it into some big boogeyman. And the person that she fingers as a big problem surrounding Trump that's against Project 2025, that's pushing Trump to disavow it, is Chris LaCivita, his campaign manager. And she was pointing out his tweets where on January 6th, he was basically counter-signaling Trump. So not a good guy surrounding Trump, just like 2016, Project 2025, Trump loyalists. So hopefully he's just talking before the election. He doesn't actually disavow all his most loyal supporters.
But didn't Trump disavow Project 2025? Didn't he post on Truth Social? He was like, there's no truth to this. I don't know what this is. I don't endorse this. So
yeah. Amanda Milius said he's taking bad advice, Chris LaCivita, and hopefully this is just him talking and he doesn't actually act that way once he's in power.
Yeah. Well, we're on Google right now. You can see my Google search history. Uh-oh. If I was Clint, I would be nervous. As of course, if you type in P, automatically, the things that pops up. The first thing that comes up is Publix, but the second thing that comes up is Project 2025. Automatically just there for you. And there's a website associated with it. There's a little byline that reads, Project 2025, also known as Presidential Transition Project, is a collection of conservative and right-wing policy proposals from the Heritage Foundation to reshape the United States federal government and consolidate executive power should the Republican nominee win the 2024 presidential election. Doesn't seem too kind of controversial for me.
I thought Doug had something on the topic.
No, not really. I mean, it just sounds like, well, this is an outside group. They give Trump recommendations, ideas, policy ideas, and staffing ideas. He can take them or leave them. I mean, it's not. That's sort of like what his Truth Social post said, I thought. And he wants to avoid the bad publicity now that Biden is sort of hobbling along. Trump just wants to avoid bad publicity, so he distanced himself slightly from it. But ultimately, hopefully he takes what they have, the suggestions that they have, and takes them. We'll see. Yeah,
Trump's definitely going to be playing it very safe up until there's going to be potentially a shakeup at the Democratic political party. But some people are saying there won't be a shakeup. Some people are saying that they're going to stay the course and that they're going to be supporting Joe Biden.
Riding with Biden, baby. Let's go.
I'm riding with Biden personally myself, but one of those people that's riding with Biden also.
On the short bus.
The special bus. And one of those people joining him is Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as of course she just had this to say this morning.
President over the weekend. I have spoken with him extensively. He made clear then, and he has made clear since, that he is in this race. The matter is closed. He had reiterated that this morning. He has reiterated that to the public. Joe Biden is our nominee. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him. Now, what I think is critically important right now is that we focus on what it takes to win in November, because he is running against Donald Trump, who is a man with 34 felony convictions that has committed 34 felony crimes, and not a single Republican has asked for Donald Trump to not be the nominee. I'm here to win on this democracy. I'm here to win in November.
Yeah, AOC is a major player, especially when it comes to a lot of the woke people in our kind of cultural society. And her kind of an endorsement here is absolutely fascinating, absolutely interesting, as of course it does highlight people who are saying, riding with Biden all the way on the short bus. What do you make of AOC's statements here? And do you think she's just politicking, or do you think she legitimately is standing behind Joe Biden?
She's retarded, so this makes sense.
It's called mentally handicapped.
Yeah, challenged.
Yes.
All I can think when I see AOC is Alex Stein calling her his favorite big booty Latina. That's all I can think when I see it.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Andrew.
It's hilarious. Alex Stein nailed it with that. It's funny.
He did, but to me, the establishment's kind of because she does represent the establishment. When Nancy Pelosi kind of told her, "Hey, fall in line," she fell in line, and I'm kind of wondering if someone kind of came to her recently and said, "AOC, you're going to stay in line here. We're riding with Biden. You're going to support him." And that's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Andrew. I think she's all booty, no brains.
Luke wants me to have an intellectual take on this.
That's like most women here in Miami.
I'll
a lot of fake butts out here too.
You want me to say something smart about
Yes.
this? So I'll say there's a great Twitter thread talking about AOC's CIA history. So people think like she's got this image of being some kind of like independent or some grassroots person, but she is deeply, deeply establishment. She is deep state. And yeah, she falls right in line whenever they tell her. So she's not the image that a lot of people have of her.
Yeah. Well, even a couple months ago, I said one of the craziest things that could happen during this election cycle is that Joe Biden remains the nominee and somehow is able to, of course, win the next upcoming presidential election. Because during the last cycle, everyone was saying Trump has it in the bag. Biden's not even campaigning. No one's showing up for Joe Biden. We're hearing the same kind of rhetoric now, and it kind of makes me wonder if it's a kind of larger psyop in order to motivate the left-wingers to come out and vote. As, of course, that's exactly what AOC is calling for. That's exactly kind of what we saw also happen in France recently, as all the polls and all the political experts were saying, oh, the right-wingers are going to win. The right-wingers are going to take this over. The right-wingers are going to destroy your country. A whole bunch of left-wingers came out, and now there's left-wing politicians that were major Antifa leaders that were seen as a security threat, according to French authorities, that are now literally calling for a 90% tax on the rich inside of France. And with the way that things are going inside of Europe, who knows? They might be getting their way. But is this a blueprint to what could be happening here in the United States? What do you guys think?
I don't care about French elections. I don't think there's any correlation between France and America. I will say that the results in 2020, we hadn't just had a Biden administration, so people are really, really sick of Biden. You see it all over the map. People that were staunch Democrats are completely voting for Trump. Even Anna Kasparian is out there like low-key supporting Trump. That's the Young Turks. She was like crying on election night 2016, and now she's low-key supporting Trump.
How is she low-key supporting Trump? I know she made some interesting statements, but what were the kind of biggest ones that she made recently?
Look at her latest tweet saying, oh, don't cry about Trump. don't cry about Trump. You're putting out Biden, so don't cry about Trump. She wants Trump to win. It's very clear from her tone. And honestly, anybody with a shred of intelligence should want Trump to win. Biden's a complete disaster.
He's a disaster, but he's also a perfect candidate for the kind of corporate vessel state. He's also someone that is implementing all the policies that a lot of very powerful people want to kind of implement. Douglas, how did you see it? The last kind of election cycle since, again, we were kind of in a similar situation. Everyone's like, Biden's old. He's tired. He's an old, bad man who, of course, isn't the right person for the job. And then he kind of won the election.
Yeah, I would by no means count him out. He's running far weaker than 4 years ago, but I still wouldn't count him out. And I think the analogy to France is the only way that they could keep Le Pen out of power was with the scare tactics and coalescing the other parties, like the centrist parties, to vote against her. So that's the only way that Biden can somehow pull it off, is by doing the Project 2025 thing. Trump's going to be a dictator, ramp up the fear, amp it up all the way. So that these people that hate Biden and they don't like Trump either will vote for Biden, which is what happened last time. But it's difficult to see that happening this time just because the average person, especially if they're under like a certain age, say 50, they're just struggling so much economically. They don't like what's going on, especially with the economy, with inflation, interest rates, everything else. So I don't think it's going to work, but that's the only way. And we see this time and time again. That's the only way that Democrats can win these national elections is by trying to amp up the fear, going all the way back to Obama's second term with Romney when he tried to say, you know, he's going to put you back in chains and all this kind of stuff. So it's just bread and butter. This is just their politicking. This is what they do every 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, the economy's bad for us, but it's really good for the special interest groups. It's really good for the big kind of industries out there that are making a ton of money, including a lot of the big money players, as we have a Democratic money mover, Dimitri Melhorn, that had some very interesting comments recently that literally read about how they would prefer to literally have a not alive Joe Biden, a quote, dead or comatose Biden, over replacing him with Kamala Harris.
Well, you know, that makes sense to me because the Democrats, they do like to resurrect the dead around November 4th. You know, there's a lot of resurrection happening just in time for voting. So
I'd like to add to why the Democrats, they don't want Kamala at all. When she was running in 2020, she had to drop out before the first primary. Two reasons. One, Tulsi going in on her record prosecuting moms for truancy. So people were like, what? She did what? She prosecuted people for marijuana, for their kids skipping school. So she lost a lot of support from that. And second, I was the editor of Culture, and we put out the story, you know, she's not an American black. Her black comes from her Jamaican father who has slaveholder ancestry, and her mom is Indian, and she was raised in an Indian household. And just bringing up the facts of that, she lost a lot of support from the black community. I was equated to being a white supremacist by her comms director, Ian, I forget his last name, for publishing that story. And yeah, Donald Trump Jr. shared it at one point. It was like a big story for a week. So we helped kick out Kamala Harris, and she cannot win. It's, you know, she's supposed to be able to play the minority woman card for them, but she loses minorities because she's not the right type of minority.
And she was a horrible prosecutor that literally tried to have people that were innocent behind bars, even when there was evidence proving their innocence, that she would suppress deliberately. Again, she has a horrible, absolutely atrocious record, especially with what she did in California. And I think it's brilliant for Joe Biden to make her the VP, because there's no better way to secure your position in power, where literally they're saying you could not be alive, but you could be a corpse. We'll still vote for you over Kamala Harris. That's how unpopular she is. That's literally the public wording out there, which if you're Kamala, holy freaking cow, must be hard and very difficult to deal with. Imagine being Kamala right now and being told, we prefer someone who's not really alive over you. That's a big kind of reality check. But again, when you look at the poll numbers, she's not performing well against Trump either. Biden?
She's no brains and all hawk to us. So
Oh my God! Incredible.
I'm gonna start a poll on YouTube right now, asking our audience: will Biden be replaced? You should tweet that out, Lila. Will Biden be replaced? Yes or no? It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. As of course, Kamala is the viable option, according to a lot of people in the corporate media. As of course, if they want to keep the war chest, if they want to keep all the money from all the mega donors and all the special interest groups, they kind of have to go with Kamala. They can't really switch it up without offending a lot of people. As of course, even though she's not really kind of, her person of color card is being questioned here, but she still holds that card, according to a lot of people in the kind of general public, according to a lot of the normies. If you still try to take her out, it's still going to be a slight against the black community. It's still going to be, oh, you don't like women, you don't like people of color, so they can't really replace her. They have to somehow guarantee a move that Joe Biden kind of positioned himself in perfectly. And say what you may about the president of the United States, if he made that decision, his cognitive skills are pretty good. All right? Let's just be honest with ourselves. That guy's smart. He's thinking here and he's making some moves. Or is it Hunter Biden that's making a lot of the moves here? As of course, the Telegraph is reporting that he is acting as the gatekeeper to the current president of the United States and playing a significant role in the White House along with Joe Biden when it comes to a lot of these kind of decisions.
Yeah,
Again,
Joe Biden's got a real crack team.
Exactly. And we also, a very significant, very potent crack team. As of course, we have this article from Leading Report that is talking about how allegedly former Biden stenographer Mike McCormick has come out, and he is believing right now that Joe Biden is actually blackmailing Barack Obama with threats of revealing the former president's alleged private homosexual lifestyle. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is according to Biden's former stenographer, who allegedly is saying that right now the Biden administration and Joe Biden himself is literally blackmailing Barack Obama about his former past lovers. As of course, if you remember, our first kind of episode here on this particular podcast was with Larry Sinclair right after he did the interview with Tucker Carlson. We had him here in studio, and he went into great detail on the other platform describing the personal details and the personal stuff.
Anaconda dong.
No, Steph, you weren't paying attention for that. No, it wasn't that. It was more compared.
But maybe,
It was
maybe
compared
they're
to a
talking
pencil,
about-
if you remember our interview with him correctly. Yes.
Maybe it's something else too. Maybe it's Mike.
Well, could be. What do you guys make of this kind of allegation? What do you think is really going on here? Because Washington, D.C. is a very seedy place. There's a lot of blackmail. There's a lot of compromise. There's a lot of things that happen like you see in kind of Game of Thrones. And we only hear a little bit of it. Is this something that you believe to be true or not?
The last time there was a beef, Jack Posobiec was reporting there was big beef between Biden and Kamala. There's infighting in the White House and possibly a power play by Barack Obama against the Bidens. The last time that came out, the left-wing media was suddenly covering Barack Obama's potential homosexual past. Like, that story suddenly dropped out of nowhere. So, yeah, they're definitely doing that to hold Barack at bay.
Well, there's also Barack's diary that someone got a hold of as well that allegedly talked about him kind of fantasizing about males. And again, each his own. But I think this is why
Gay.
there might be a situation that potentially is holding the Obamas back from gaining a significant position of power, as a lot of people are saying now.
Well, I think what this country needs is a real man in office, and that would be Michael. And we need Michael in office as the president.
We actually have a T-shirt about that we released a couple months ago, very prophetically, that we can't show here. We were supposed to show it on yesterday's after segment, we never got the chance to do that. We're going to make sure we do that. I'm going to pull it up right now because it's a very kind of adult only kind of T-shirt that we could only show you on our not so family friendly broadcast that we're going to be pulling up here in just about 30 minutes, where Lila actually gets a lot more free to say whatever she wants, as she already is very liberal about it right now. But Doug, what do you see about these kind of internal power struggles? As of course, a lot of people say that there's a Clinton faction, there's the Obama faction fighting. Now it looks like the Biden faction is sticking to their own. Mm-hmm. They used to be tied in with the Obama faction, but it looks like there is some larger kind of troubles between the Obamas and the Bidens.
Oh, yeah. All these people hate each other. I mean, they're all ambitious as sin. I don't doubt anything that I hear. I don't believe it necessarily, but I wouldn't doubt it either. I mean, I think that these people hate each other. I think that the biggest problem they have is that Joe Biden has all the delegates, so they all have to suck up to him and basically just say, he's our guy, Joe's our guy. They don't have a choice because he has the delegates. If he didn't have the delegates, they would kick him to the curb. They would have kicked him to the curb a long time ago.
Yeah, he has the delegates and he has the purse. He has the money.
He has the money. And it's going to be him or Kamala. And some of them like Kamala. Some of them hate Kamala. So it's not going to happen. I think that, unless he has some kind of a medical situation, which very plausibly could happen, then it's going to be Joe Biden. And if it's not Joe Biden, it's going to be Kamala. So the Obamas don't really have a choice, I don't think.
Yeah, it could happen to any one of them, knock on wood, as of course both of the
God
candidates,
forbid.
God forbid, are pretty up there in age. And again, anything could happen this election cycle.
By the way, with Kareem Jean-Pierre was saying, I want to know how many people are walking around the White House with dementia if the neurologist is going there every month. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, that's a significant issue. That's a significant maybe problem. Or there's some kind of new development of a weapon that creates kind of dimension. A lot of people are bringing up the potential use of something like a Havana syndrome, which people say is like a psyop. It's a fake thing. Some people are saying it's a real thing. But it wouldn't surprise me if the intel agencies have some kind of weapon like that, where they could just kind of turn on the button and send over signals that kind of scramble your brain and make you sound like you're a child, or make you poop your pants. That's of course the U.S. Pentagon was working on a brown note kind of technology that makes you crap your pants decades and decades ago. If you think they haven't figured it out by now,
I don't think the intel agencies need a weapon to make Joe Biden crap his pants.
Hey, no, I'm riding with Biden. I think, as Biden said yesterday, that there's a Democratic establishment against him that's trying to replace him. I'm with Biden on this one. And he is, I think, a man of the people. I think he's fighting the establishment right now. And, I hope he stays as healthy and as spry as he is right now. As, of course, Fox News also just recently interviewed James Carville, who's a major kind of political analyst. And he's saying, it's the Clintons, it's the Obamas that need to replace Biden. And I think his kind of analysis of what he thinks is going on here, of what he wants to happen, is actually happening in many kind of covert ways, because different kind of administrations, different families have ties to different news organizations. And this is how we could see a coordinated attack against Joe Biden that could be led by either the Clintons or the Obamas, that are seeing this as a perfect opportunity for them to kind of position themselves. And Douglas, I agree with you. These people are power hungry. These people are sociopathic. These people will do anything to get into positions of power. And when you're the president of the United States, you have the ability to set so much policy. You have the ability to make people rich. You have the ability to make people poor. You have the power to be a puppet for the corporate technocratic intelligence agencies that will tell you what to do and do their own kind of bidding here. So even though there's a secret kind of shadowy group that kind of calls the shots here, this is still a position that a lot of these people want to get. They want to be the face. They want the attention. They want the ability to write those kind of executive orders and set up those policies, because power is a drug. And I think a lot of these people are absolutely total drug addicts, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a guy like James Carville, though, he's a little bit past his prime. I think he's LARPing It reminds me of all these scenarios, you know, when they said, here's how Bernie can still win back in the day, or when Trump did the whole Access Hollywood, or the Republicans, like, here's how we can run Mike Pence instead. It's just a LARP. Like, the Biden has all the power, not all of it. He has all the power as far as getting the Democratic nomination. And the media is extremely powerful. They can make it so that he loses the election by 10 points, I think. But they can't get him, they can't dislodge him from the nomination unless he chooses to step down, unless they've got something on him.
Absolutely. And I think they all have significant dirt on each other, because I think that's the major kind of precursor of, if you're going to be in power, you need to do some really messed up stuff. Biden did some messed up stuff.
Biden won't be stepping down. He will be falling down. That's what will happen.
He'll be tripping up and then down.
I mean, Biden is so obviously corrupt. They have nothing to blackmail him with. It's known. There's videos of him molesting children in Congress, like congressmen's children. He's grabbing them right in broad daylight. Like he's a sick guy.
He's just caressing them.
Oh God. Yeah, he's a sicko. Everybody knows it. So what are they gonna say? Yeah, your son was with underage prostitutes. You're groping children. It's all known, and people are still voting for him. So it's incredible.
Well, there's also the Ashley Biden diary story that is pretty salacious and pretty crazy, as officially confirmed by Ashley Biden herself, and of course the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff on private islands that happens with a lot of these very powerful people. So it's kind of interesting seeing all of this, as we had Camtastic recently make a meme of the current political situation with the Democratic Party that I think was perfectly represented by this. Really aggravating. As a former New Yorker, it's pissing me off to find out that the city wasted $4 million of taxpayer money in order to hire a consultant group, McKinley, in order to study whether trash piles would be better than containers. Yes, you heard that correctly. The city literally spent $4 million to study if trash cans work, as Mayor Eric Adams literally made an announcement saying, hey guys, we're going to start using trash cans here. Yay. Great.
Well, to be fair, trash cans. Have you bought a trash can before? They're very expensive, surprisingly.
Yeah, but that $4 million didn't go towards buying trash cans. That $4 million went into studying if trash cans would be better than just putting your trash on the street of New York City, just like they do it.
They've been doing that a long time, no?
Yeah, they've been doing it the whole time. That's why New York City kind of smells like spoiled milk during the spring and dust. And it's not a fun place to be around, as of course a lot of businesses, a lot of high-rise apartment buildings have a crap ton of trash that they have to get rid of. These small containers that they have that are going to be replacing this are not going to be sufficient. I already see this failing to, of course, work, as of course you're going to need a crap ton of these that are going to block the frickin' sidewalk, and they're probably going to make businesses buy them, and they're probably going to fine businesses for not putting all of their trash in the trash bins, which they probably won't be able to do that, since of course there's so many people literally in New York City living on top of each other that the sanitation is usually hard to deal with. And that's why New York City has a major rat problem. And that's why I don't think this solution will potentially work. But also, $4 million frickin' dollars on studying this? Are you kidding me? It's absolutely
well, it makes
ridiculous.
sense. These are the people who are riding with Biden on the short bus. They don't have common sense, okay?
They don't. As of course, that's a perfect example of government waste, throwing your tax dollars. There should be another meme made with Eric Adams literally robbing someone, taking their money, and then just throwing it in the trash, because I think that's a perfect representation of what New York City did. I don't know if you guys have been to New York City recently, but it is an absolute hellscape that I am very happy I fled, that I am very happy I don't live in. I'm very happy I'm not surrounded by the horrible, atrocious smells, trash, graffiti, and people there that don't respect private property, don't respect individual rights, don't respect your right to, of course, self-defense. Lila, you fled California. As of course, I think they also are pretty great at wasting your money and instituting a lot of these kind of democratic policies. I left New York City. I'm happy I left. How are you doing?
What are you talking about? It was the best place to live in 2020. I was so happy to be in California. I mean, it was just wonderful.
They took care of your health and wellness.
Yes,
very much.
And unlike the president, we had to show them everything and let them know exactly what was going on with all of our health decisions. So,
yes.
I want to say something about that trash in New York. Honestly, there's a flip side, no? Isn't this a good thing? At least, the money's going towards making people's lives better there and, not making it so stinky like you remember.
It's going to just be stinkier with more trash cans that are preventing you from walking down the street.
Or we can have trash cans on the floor everywhere. At least maybe that's why they need to spend so much to figure out the problem.
Well, or that $4 million could be used to actually help the homeless population of people that are there and actually be used to help people, not be used to have discussions that could have been talked about in 2 seconds, like Luke just talked about here, instead of spending $4 million to just say whether or not we should have trash cans.
Yeah, or just don't take people's money. let people figure out their own issues. Let people actually keep the money that they worked so hard for. As of course, the taxes in New York City are absolutely atrocious. They take away so much from the average person out there that it's very difficult to survive. And it's one reason. I remember back in the 90s, there was a lot of mom and pop stores. There was a lot of private businesses. There was a lot of private enterprises. Now it's just like Chase Bank, CVS, Chase Bank, McDonald's, Wendy's, and sadly, a lot of kind of people who were able to make a living, who were able to survive, they could no longer do that anymore with all the rules and regulations. The New York City Police Department recently started to go around all the smoke shops and literally with the sheriff's department, without a warrant, just seize their property, walk into their businesses and take whatever they wanted to, look at whatever they wanted, and totally treat people like if they were freaking slaves, which was absolutely atrocious.
It seems like you're punished financially if you actually try to work hard and make something of yourself. But if you want to be lazy and stay on welfare and get government assistance, then they reward that. But as soon as you try to start a business or do something, it's almost like they do that to prevent people from actually trying.
We're in an area where they're trying to destroy the middle class. And if you have people from the middle class that can move into the oligarch class through hard work, or there's enough people in the middle class that banded together, they can challenge the power of the oligarchs. Well, the oligarchs don't like that. They want people to be poor. They don't want you to succeed. They want to own everything. What does Klaus Schwab say? You're going to own nothing and you're going to be happy. Live in the pod, eat the bugs. That's what they want for you. But I think that we're going to build a better future than that.
They're literally punishing success. Mm-hmm. Like if you're successful, if you're doing good. Look what happened with landofbiltong.com. We had him on the show yesterday. The city's going after him, and they're trying to shut down his business. He's thinking about fleeing his literal home and his business because of all the kind of pressures that he's facing that the government is going after him for. As of course, the reason why I'm always skeptical to address Steph's kind of question here is because now there's going to be new rules, new regulations. There's literally people in New York City that walk around and look through your trash. And if you didn't recycle correctly, they give you a ticket if you're a homeowner or a private business. If you don't sweep and clean out your driveway or the front of your business, you get fined. As of course, the people who are littering, the trash that's everywhere, all over the place, is just just something that people are slowly getting used to.
If you want to pitch a tent in front of a business or take your RV and live in front of a business, that's totally fine. You can do that.
Yeah, in California, especially. Or if
you want to run around naked with a machete, by all means, feel free, do that. We just have social workers on bikes who will stop and talk to you to see if you're okay. That's it.
Yeah. I just see the city as just a horrible kind of flesh-eating, blood-sucking monster that is drying up what made New York City special. New York City used to have a lot of badass people out there that were very creative, that were very tough, that had to kind of get through things. Now all those people left. What you have is a bunch of complainers and a bunch of people who just want more from everybody else, which they don't work hard for, which they haven't really kind of earned. And I just couldn't be around that kind of energy. New York City had an energy where it used to kind of, it used to ebb and flow. It used to kind of motivate me and also kind of used to depress me sometimes. But looking at New York City from afar when I was growing up there, I always saw it as a city that if you could make it there, you could make it anywhere. Now it's a city that you can't make anything out of yourself because the government will stomp on your dreams and your aspirations with taxes, rules, and regulations, and of course make you the kind of boogeyman, make you the bad guy for just trying to survive as a private business or as a property owner who has to face significant taxes and just the amount of money that they're taking away from individuals is absolutely just incredulous, to say the least. Doug, did you grow up also in New York City or were around there?
No, I lived there for 6 years. So, I mean, when I moved there in 2011, it was very, very free, the people were very interesting, open. And I got out of there about 2017, but after Trump got elected, and I think also with COVID, I wasn't there, granted at the time, but it's just the social situation, the people there, it's very stifling, it's very groupthink. It's just not what it was. I think that the creativity has gone a lot. Now there's some people trying to bring that back in the downtown, which is interesting. But I think that, yeah, it just became anyone who was sort of had any sort of personality or anything like that got out of New York. And it's a lot of very NPC place, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of brain drain. There's a lot of people that were capable, that were creative, that were fun. There used to be so many like fun underground, like really niche, cool things that you could be a part of, and groups and organizations. And then the city squashed down on that with all their rules and regulations, which again, it's kind of infuriating, as of course they're literally letting go criminals every single day that are violent criminal offenders. But you try to, of course, do anything outside of the regulatory kind of bounds of New York City that now will be regulating you to these trash cans and telling you that you need to do this and you can't do that. As government agents literally snoop to your trash, it's highlighting a situation that I just don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be around that kind of juju. I don't want to be around that kind of frequency, as of course, you literally earn money and you literally have to give it to the state, which is pissing me off, as of course the state is a great waster of your money, as perfectly represented by this story as the $230 million U.S. aid pier off of the coast of Gaza has been permanently dismantled after operating for just 21 days. I remember hearing about this story from the beginning of it, and my original response is, why the hell do we have a pier outside of Gaza? This makes no sense at all. There was bad weather that, of course, destroyed it. They tried to rebuild it, and now officially this project is kaput. It is done, highlighting once again a huge waste of taxpayer dollars under the Biden administration that is just wasting your money. What's your guys' response to this?
Could it have been like a geopolitical move, maybe?
I don't know.
To spend that much money to do that if it's not actually really that important and they're going to dismantle it in like a week.
Well, it was 21 days. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think somebody's sitting with $229 million in their bank account right now, and they said, that was a great project. I had a great time with that one.
No, it's an utter freaking waste. Waste that happens all the time. And it's kind of infuriating. It's kind of frustrating. It's something that when I pay my taxes, which I do every time we do payroll, I have to pay taxes just to pay people, which pisses me off. Especially when I look at my bills, especially when I look at everything that I have to kind of put away to give to the federal government, and then the federal government does this, as the situation in the Middle East isn't getting any better. The situation in Ukraine also isn't getting any better at all. And we're essentially putting a down payment for just a lot of people who will be enriching themselves. And as you said, I think you made a good point there, Andrew. Someone is probably sitting with $229 million in their bank account right now.
That's what aid to Ukraine is. That's what foreign aid is. It's just taking the money from the U.S. public and then putting it in the hands of some dirtbag overseas.
Exactly. I think Ron Paul said it best, and he described foreign policy as a way from rich people to take from poor people and to give it to rich people in other countries.
To give it back to Nancy Pelosi.
Well, Pelosi's rigging the stock market, according to my own personal opinion, and she recently was able to, of course, absolutely increase her wealth very dramatically within the last few months with some very kind of interesting stock moves that paid off very handsomely for her.
She's the best trader in the world. I need to start copying her trades.
Well, Warren Buffett literally can't be a good of a trader as Nancy Pelosi is, which says a lot. I mean, she's definitely very spry too. She's definitely very on top of it as well, and she's a very competent leader, right?
I think to paraphrase our friend Lila, she's some brains and a lot of hot too.
Yes.
She's definitely a perfect wine mom. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but to me, Biden gets elected, more of these kind of projects are going to happen. They're kind of pointless projects, just like we saw with the Afghanistan withdrawal. And it's frustrating to understand that you're slaving away. You're working so hard,
Yes.
and your money is just being taken away from you and just gone.
And then think about all the people in America, like military vets who could have used this money, and it's so sad that we don't take care of the people that are here.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people are getting new kitchens renovated, remodelings in Northern Virginia right now after this pier was built. It's a lot of money going into Northern Virginia. But I was surprised that you can't just build a pier on the open sea. That really shocked me. I guess there's waves that destroy it, so that's really a shame.
Yeah, those DEI engineers really aren't pulling their weight here. They're not really showing their best colors here.
Apparently, Biden just said, we're going to build a pier. He didn't check with the military or anything. So they just had to do it, and then it didn't work out. The weather came in early that season or something. The seas were rougher than they were expecting, and it just wiped it out.
Yes, not a surprise.
No, I think that they spent as much as they needed to on cardboard or whatever to build a pier, and somebody went home with a lot of money.
Your tax dollars hard at work, right down the drain, which again is just absolutely infuriating and kind of pissing me off. As of course, we now are financing a lot of conflicts around the world, conflicts that are expanding, conflicts that will be discussed during the NATO summit that's going to be happening in Washington, D.C. in just a few hours from now. As of course, the AP is writing that Joe Biden will be making the case that he is still up to the job of President of the United States. This, as a lot of people are saying, that if Donald Trump wins, that we are not going to be in NATO. That's a talking point from Joe Biden, a talking point that I kind of agree with, that to me is a kind of a campaign endorsement for Donald Trump.
The fact that this is even a headline is crazy. It's like the fact that he has to prove that he's still up for the job, because we've all clearly seen his health is declining, and it's like it should make people angry, but they want to vote for dead people, and they want to resurrect the dead on November 4th to also vote. So it's, makes sense.
It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen during these kind of NATO summit meetings, as of course a lot of world leaders are kind of questioning the decision making of the United States, as the current president really isn't there for them.
We look so strong as a country. I mean, we haven't ever looked better.
Yeah, what better way to show strength than through Joe Biden? Am I right?
We're really strong from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., okay?
Yes. Otherwise, we got some serious things to worry about, as of course we have this article that we're going to be talking about probably on the next platform, as of course the Daily Mail has a very interesting article about the White House's response to what would happen if there was a nuclear attack after 8 p.m. And it is very surprising. We're going to be playing that clip all on the next platform that we are going to be going on very soon, that we are currently on the front page of. So if you want to see this conversation continued in a more kind of free way, check out this platform that we can't mention, because when we do, YouTube downranks us in the algorithm and hurts our reach. I think Lila already said like 9 out of the 10 words we shouldn't be saying here on this platform. But we'll make sure we don't do 10 out of 10, just 9 out of 10. As of course, the conversation continues there in a totally more uncensored, unfree way, as we are still looking for a caller from lukeunfiltered.com. As of right now, we don't have one. You could be that caller. You could call in. You could ask us anything in about 30 minutes, all just by simply signing up to lukeunfiltered.com. And I am in the Telegram chat right now, paying attention to everyone and what you guys are saying. So I will be talking to you guys very soon. Before moving over, Douglas, where can people find out more information about you?
Yeah, go to twitter.com/Doug Mackey Case. Go to memedefensefund.com. That's the 501c3 or 4, whatever, nonprofit. And douglasmackey.substack.com.
Awesome. Lila, where can people find out more information about you?
You guys can find me at lilahart.com, and I've had an absolute blast on the best political show. I'm the Spina Bifida Baddie, stand-up comedian, and we will see you.
Andrew's getting tasered on the next broadcast, right?
Yes.
Hell no. Before I give my outro, are you getting Ricky Vaughn back on Twitter by any chance?
I don't think so, no.
Why not?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried. I think I lost my credentials at this point.
No, we need Ricky Vaughn back on Twitter. People need to find Ricky Vaughn on Twitter. Legend.
Well, somebody got to contact Elon Musk then.
ALX, if you're watching.
Who's Ricky Vaughn? What's the situation with that?
That was just a pseudonym that I used back when I got suspended off Twitter back in 2016. So it was just a very popular account. It was huge, very influential during that election, and then it was suspended.
Do you want your account back?
I guess so, because there's a lot of followers on it. I mean,
Ricky, we need to make this happen. This man's a legend. If people don't know, this is friggin' Ricky Vaughn right here. Like, we're saying Douglas Mackey. Obviously, you're Doug Mackey, but Ricky Vaughn is right here, man. Like, legend.
Thank you. No, yeah. I mean, hey, if I can get it back, I'd love to get it back, rebranded, and keep going. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
ALX, hook him up. Elon Musk.
Absolutely.
So you're getting tasered, right?
Hell no. Hell no. You can find me on Twitter. I don't say X. Twitter.com/TheAndrewMeyer. And but forget about me. As fun as my Twitter is, buy the Alex Jones video game. It is so much fun. AlexJonesGame.com. Go there and watch the trailer, have a laugh, and then you'll probably buy the game because it's amazing.
Andrew disarmed the electrified chair, sadly, even though he came late. Steph.
I was really sad to see him remove that.
Yes, thank you.
Me too.
He knew right away. Like, he sat down, he was like, something's wrong. I need to take this out of the chair. And then he pulls out like a whole electrical thing.
I mean, it wasn't very subtle. It's a big, massive dog collar that was sitting in the back of the chair. Like, how did Clint sit in this chair yesterday with this in his back? I don't understand why anyone would sit in the chair with that sticking out. That's crazy.
Here, put it up. Put it
What
on
kind
you.
of jigsaw, torture chamber you running here, Luke? What the hell?
Here, take it away.
Yeah, get this out.
Here, touch it. Just put it right here.
He has the remote.
Put it right here.
Hold
Just for a
on.
second.
Let me
Just for a second.
hold on to it.
Just for a second.
Anyways, you guys, this is Steph. We are Change on Instagram, Steph WRC on X, official button pusher. Thank you so much for tuning in, and find us on Humble.
All right. We're now moving officially over